Welcome to episode 8 of the Pick and Roll podcast. I'm joined here by my co-host
Campbell,
and myself and Max. We were just talking, and we're trying to come up with something that we can do at the start of every episode, because it becomes like, I feel like it's just a little bit, I don't know, boring at the moment. But I feel like there's something that we need to do at the start. I know I've seen other podcasts do it, where they just say something and then you associate the podcast with those words.
Yeah, like a defining introduction.
Like Kenny Beecham.
And we back.
And we back.
So
Numbers on the board.
if you guys have any ideas, leave them down below.
Yeah, until we come up with it. We might surprise you next week. But busy episode.
Very.
Pretty much what we're going to cover today. I'll give you guys a little schedule of what we're doing. First of all, we're going to discuss... you probably saw it in the title. We're going to discuss all of the playoff matchups, the potential playoff matchups in this year's playoffs. It's fast approaching, 3 or 4 weeks' time. We're going to really approach the last week of the NBA regular season. So we're going to talk about all the potential playoff matchups, sort of our predictions at the moment. I think we will expand on them later. Not expand on them, but they will develop later once we know.
Yeah, when the matchups are set in stone.
But these are sort of our mock predictions at the moment. So that'll be interesting. That's what's first up. And then the rest is sort of if we get time, because we predicted that first section will go for a little while. So otherwise we've got, are the Cavs the real deal? So you guys stay tuned for that. And then we're going to rank the last 10 NBA champions.
Yes, really dive into it, really break it down. And then we've got some fun games, etc. as per. Maybe even bring Team of the Week back for a segment. They've been missing it.
Yeah, this is one of the favorites. But yeah, how do you want to get started? What do you think?
I think we just start at the top, really, the top matchup. You want to start at the East.
The most set in stone sort of
pretty
seeding
much
that we got. Do you want to start with the East?
Which is Boston.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to take out the number 1 seed. I don't know if they've fully secured it yet.
I don't think so.
But
they basically
they're 9 games ahead of the Bucks, and there's not that many games left. So
no.
So yeah, Boston versus, it's either going to be, I don't think it's going to be Atlanta or Chicago, but let's be honest, if they do verse Atlanta or Chicago, it's a 4-0.
You want to start with the play-in predictions?
True. We could start with the play-in.
Just so we've got that sort of 8 seed. So we're going to have, at the moment, we're going to have Philly and Miami. Do you think it's going to end up being Philly and Miami in the play-in, or do you think some of the teams are going to drop down, pick it back up, or...
I think it has to be Philly and Miami. Chicago have a chance, I feel like, especially if Joel Embiid's still hurt, maybe. I don't know. But I feel like it's easy to say that the 76ers and the Heat have more playoff experience and they're going to make it through. The Bulls and the Hawks have been very mediocre this year. Yep. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I think, look, I want Orlando, New York, and Indiana to stick around where they are, but as a Philly fan, I would also like them to drop down. And it's all very close. Like, between the 4th seed and the 7th seed right now, there's only 3 games in it.
Yeah, literally anyone can go up or down here.
Exactly. And if you get a healthy Joel Embiid back before the end of the season, which we've spoken about, then I think Philly have the potential to jump up. I also think Miami have the potential to jump up, because you've got Bam in form. Jimmy's fighting a little bit with injuries at the moment, but it's still a really good team that we've seen dominate before. So you never know, they could pick it back up. But let's say, for the sake of this video, that the 7 and 8 seed are Philly and Miami, because that's what they are at the moment.
Yeah, and it's probably what they're going to be at the end of the day.
Yeah. Who you got?
So...
In one game,
who versus who?
Philly, Miami.
But they can both make it, can't they?
Like in the first playing game.
Oh, true. Because 9 and 10 play and 7 and 8 play.
7 and 8 play, 9 and 10, yeah.
Yeah. Philly and Miami, 1 game. Depends if Joel Embiid.
Let's assume all is healthy.
All is healthy? 76ers.
Let's also predict that he will be very fresh off
Still,
the injury.
76ers.
Still the 76ers.
Still, I'm going to have to go still because they're around the same at the moment anyway. You know, Philly has run some subpar lineups to what they had previously early in the season. But the Heat just haven't looked like the Heat that this year. They just haven't looked as good. And I know playoff Jimmy, he's gonna come out, but I feel like if you get Joel Embiid back, we're assuming fully healthy, then it cancels out and Tyrese Maxey will have the chance to take over a bit. So yeah.
Just the one thing that scares me about Miami, we saw in the bubble, they were the 7th seed, and then they made it to the NBA Finals. So you can never count Miami out, especially with Jimmy Butler in the lineup.
No.
Bam Adebayo, who's improved since 2020 as well. He's a defensive player of the year candidate, and he's improved offensively as well. Like back then, we didn't see him as aggressive. I think that was the main critique for Bam. But now he's sort of picked it up. He's been in the league for 7-8 years, however long, and he knows what he's doing now.
Yeah, not to mention last year they came out of the play-in
Exactly.
and they made it to the finals.
You can never count them out.
But still, I'm backing Philly here. I think it's just the Heat usually look decent during the okay. I mean, bar last year probably, but they look okay, and they look like they can be that great team that they live up to in the playoffs. I really haven't seen it this year, and I just don't think their roster is, has the players to...
Is up to par with Philly.
No, I just don't think it is. With Joel Embiid and Maxey healthy.
Yep. I also, as a Philly fan, I just want to see the lower end of the rotation do better. Because, I mean, we've got depth. We've got scoring depth. We've got playmaking depth. Mo Bamba's been playing better since Joel's been out. He's been given more opportunities and he's taking advantage. He's still not scoring 10 points, but he's a big presence on the defensive end when we need him. Yesterday,
he's got a cool song.
He does have he does have hose calling. We played the Bucks yesterday, and we almost came away with it.
Yeah, up by 12.
It was close, and it came down to the final possession where Pat Bev got the steal and ran away with it. So
and gave the ball to Nick Nurse.
Yeah, that was disrespectful. Never do that again.
Shout out Pat Bev.
No shout out Pat Bev. Yeah, that was our teams. We haven't talked about. We won't talk about that.
Yeah, well, we did come back, but I know it was a Philly side, which has a lot of injuries, so I'm not going to flex on you that hard.
Yeah, I am kind of flexing on you. I'm not flexing on you. I'm saying that was a very strange game for the Bucks.
It was strange, but also, Dame didn't play well at all. It was pretty much Giannis and Co. because he had 32 points. Nearly triple-double territory. So that's what he's been doing the past couple of weeks.
On insane efficiency,
Yeah, so
as every
I don't
week.
know. You can't blame Giannis at all. But it just needs the... And AJ Green off the bench, 14 points.
So he's been balling a little bit as well.
Lining it up.
Yeah, and Bobby... Bobby was
very average.
Very average. He did shoot 66%.
He had 8, didn't he?
He only had 8. Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, I'd probably have Philly as well, as long as Embiid is in form. And we've seen him injured before. We've seen him, I forgot which injury it was. It was a leg-related injury where he was out for a few weeks a few years ago. And he came back, first game, dropped 40. I think I'm remembering that correctly. I don't want to quote it, but I'm pretty sure he did that. So if we can get that sort of thing, I mean, he did have surgery, which is a whole different thing.
I still think just the presence of him being there will lift Philly.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't be the most surprised if he comes back and he's not full form and the Heat steal a game.
Steal a game? It's one game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised because it's only one game.
All right.
But I'm backing Philly.
We'll assume Philly gets through. And then Miami have to face either Chicago or Atlanta. So out of Chicago and Atlanta in that game, who are you taking?
Chicago. They, especially as of late, they've just been looking a lot better. DeMar DeRozan's cutting to his stride. You see he had 46 points the other night.
Yeah.
And the Hawks have just been a bit mediocre all year. I don't know. Trey's been playing good. He's an all-star. DeJounte stepped it up the past week especially. I don't know if you've seen. But yeah, I just feel like Chicago, they're both very mid teams, but I feel like Chicago has the better chance of not only making it through, but putting up a fight against the Heat.
Yeah, Atlanta, a bad defense, and Chicago just inconsistent. Zach LaVine, not in form whatsoever. But we've seen Atlanta in the playoffs. We've seen them make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with a very similar team. So I would go Atlanta. Because I want to see if
Really?
I can convince you. Because obviously
Was Zach LaVine still injured?
Yeah. But he's just been inconsistent this year. And when it comes to the time...
Is he coming back?
I think he is.
You're right.
He's not out for the season, is he?
I don't have the injury report in front of me, but I know he's been out for a
I'll
while.
quickly look it up. But yeah,
Convince me.
I think Atlanta, we've seen a very similar team. We've seen DeJounte Murray, we've seen Trey Young, we've seen DeAndre Hunter, and Clint Capella. They've all made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat Philly.
Lost to the Bucks in 6.
They did, but that's
Well, that was a champ.
that
That
was
was the
the
team that won the
championship
championship.
Bucks. And I mean, Trey's not a good defender. The team in its entirety is not good at defense.
Yeah, we talked about in that. I think it was the episode we talked about the Jazz. Yeah, their defense has just been horrendous this year.
But still, I think just overall they're better than the Bulls. The Bulls do have games where they win a couple in a row, but still they have lost their last 2. Even with DeMar playing so well, they lose. But
They've lost the last one. Hawks have lost the last 2.
oh, sorry, I read that wrong.
But-
My bad.
Yeah, it really depends on Trey. To be honest,
And also,
if
my
DeJounte
bad.
Murray steps
Zach
up-
LaVine is out, so let me convince you. Zach LaVine is out.
Yeah, but like you said, he's been average.
But he's
Those
still,
teams-
he's still
Of
a
course
top
he's-
3
of
most
course
impactful,
he's still a
top
factor.
2 most impactful.
But I'm saying
player.
they've been without him most of the year, pretty much, and they're still above the Hawks in the standings. And I feel like it just depends on Trey and DeMar. Is that top player matchup? If DeMar can be consistent, then the Bulls will win. If DeMar drops off, because Trey will be, I don't want to say it will be, but he most likely will be consistent and have good games. So, but I still think the Bulls. I just have a gut feeling. You're not gonna be able to convince me here. We'll come back to this in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay. All right. So I'll fold because you're not obviously not going to. Personally, I still think Atlanta are gonna win, but I feel like neither of these teams will make it past the
No.
second round anyway,
No, they
so it
won't.
doesn't really matter. But you'd have Miami going up against the Chicago Bulls
Miami.
in the final. Yeah,
And Miami
agreed.
win.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I don't think there's much discussion there.
I mean, Miami are on a 4-game slide at the moment,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's just a slump of form. They've had their injury problems this year, so I don't have any doubt that, especially playoff Jimmy, play-in Jimmy.
They just got dog in them as well. And
Yeah,
Chicago's inexperience. They've made it in the play-in since the play-in has been around and they didn't win a game. So I think they did. From memory,
When?
they made one play-in. They were a 10th seed 2 years ago.
You're testing my knowledge here.
Maybe I'm tripping. Or maybe I'm definitely thinking, no, I'm not. Never mind. I might be wrong. I might be right. Miami's going to come away with it. They've got experience. Chicago doesn't have playoff experience. And I think it just comes down to that in the end. Just a better team as well.
Nice. So let's go back to that Boston side, and it's
Yep.
Boston versus Miami.
Boston versus Miami.
Yeah, the one.
I
versus
wonder who's going to win.
It has to be Boston. It has to be.
So let's walk through the matchups, right?
Yeah, well,
1 through 5.
Similar last year, except with the addition of Drew Holiday and Porzingis.
Drew is locking up whoever the Miami Heat run at point guard. Is it Tyler Hero at the moment? I know they have been running him for point guard minutes, but either way, Drew Holiday
Yeah.
is going to lock down whoever it is. Unless it's an all-star point guard, then I think, well, Will they even match up Drew?
They're
with-
running Terry Rozier right now. They're playing right now. They're running Terry
Right.
Rozier at the point. But Tyler Hero's not playing. So.
Okay. Well, even then, Drew's winning that matchup. Drew's really winning any matchup from 1 to
Defensively.
3 defensively.
Correct.
And he's efficient from 3 as well. Yesterday, he was
is.
quite efficient from 3.
At times. And yeah, the whole team is efficient from 3. So
Yeah. And then shooting guard. We got the shooting guard matchup of probably Tyler Hero and then Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is winning that matchup as well defensively, and depends on a good day. Tyler Hero might
yeah.
win that just because he's an efficient 3-point shooter. Whilst Jaylen Brown has his days where he's not as efficient, but
Yeah, and he's inconsistent, but overall you gotta go Jaylen Brown.
defensive, that weighs in so
But Tyler
much.
Hero can go left.
Yeah, crazy. Small forward, Tatum,
Tatum versus Jimmy.
Butler.
That's probably the most even out of
But
any.
yeah, are we talking playoff Butler
Playoff
or are we
Butler.
talking Butler at the moment? Because I'm assuming we're talking playoff Butler.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, aren't we? Because he's gonna kick into gear. We all know it.
And like, if we're talking like Tatum's defending Butler, it's going to be a hard matchup for Butler because Tatum's an improved defender,
That's true.
and it's also going to be hard for Tatum because
Jimmy
Butler
Butler's a great
is a dog.
defender.
But I'd still go with Tatum, to be honest, because
Star factor, you're gonna have to go Tatum. He has to step up. There's been times in the playoffs, he's only 19. He's gotten past that point. He's nearly, I think he's like 25. So he's gonna have to step up and hit some clutch shots probably. And
it's about time, I reckon.
but I still think, we'll go center first. Center, Porzingis, and
Bam.
Bam.
Well, I feel like Porzingis, even though he has been playing in the low post a lot this season, I think he's got the ability to draw out Bam, which is extremely important. Having a stretch 5 to draw out good defenders, especially defenders of Bam's caliber, it's going to be important for the Boston Celtics.
And we've seen in games where Tatum and Brown haven't been as good, that Porzingis has stepped up and still gotten them the win, even when they probably shouldn't have been in contention in comparison to last year.
And then not only that, you've got another big that's very capable of shooting as well, Al Horford. And they're both very defensive bigs as well. Al Horford, even though he doesn't have the physical tools that he once had, he's still a very smart defender. Is the Embiid stopper. And when you've got those two, it's just so intimidating going to the rim when you're another team.
Yeah, so do we go? I think I skipped power forward. I feel like surely the Celtics will run Tatum power forward and then Derek White at the 2. Move Jaylen Brown to small forward.
Against Miami,
You think so?
if we're talking matchups.
That's what they're running at the moment.
So who'd you say? Tatum power forward, Derek White small forward or shooting guard?
and then Jaylen Brown small forward. Oh, I guess that's what they've been running.
Yeah, I would actually, I'd probably say that that's what they'd do against Miami because of Hero and Terry. So yeah, but even if they do want to switch it up, whether it's their guard predominant defensive lineup or their big defensive predominant lineup, they can switch it up, which makes them so versatile.
Who are the Heat going to run at power forward? Jovic? Triple J?
Not K-Love. I don't think they'd run Jovic. I think probably Harmy. Probably Harmy, but I think Kevin Love would get minutes as well because he's got
It's just that
experience.
experience, yeah.
And stretching the floor as well, which if Boston are doing it, every team does it these days. It's always either 5 out or it's 4 out, 1 in the dunkers spot. So I think they've both got versatile lineups, but I don't even really know why we're arguing because I just think that
the
it's
Celtics are just too good.
they're just too
Let's
good.
be honest, they didn't get it done last year against him. They've gone away and they've significantly improved their 3-point shooting and their defense. It's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Celtics in 4, Celtics in 5, Celtics in 4. I'm gonna go.
I'd go Celtics in 5 personally.
Yeah,
I would
I can
trust
see the Heat
Miami
winning
to
though.
come away with a home game, I reckon.
Yeah, the playoff atmosphere is going to be there. So I see it.
Yep. But regardless, Boston. Next we got Milwaukee,
Bucks, Philly.
Philly. It's never happened before.
It's never happened since we've been fans.
So
Interesting. Yeah, because we've never seen the matchup. So I don't even know how the matchup would go.
well, if we talk about matchups this season, we've had Milwaukee definitely come away with
More wins.
more wins, but that is also
Regular
bringing in
season.
yesterday where Embiid is out. Let me get the exact stats up because I don't want to mislead.
It really depends on how committed the Bucks are to defense. That's how the whole season's been. Because Giannis is going to score, Joel Embiid's going to score. It's how both teams contain those two players is really who's going to win.
Yeah.
And then how good the supporting players, Maxey and Dame, step up to be. That's pretty much how it's going to be. But I hope this matchup happens because the rivalry between us two. You guys will sense the tension on the podcast during
Bro,
those weeks.
That'll be crazy. That
I
would be
want to be able
nuts.
to talk to him. Can't even look at him.
I'd prefer to meet you in the first. As a matchup wise, I wouldn't prefer to meet you in the first round, but like tension wise, I would much rather
It's
match
fun.
up with you.
It's
If it was
fun,
the Eastern
but-
Conference Finals, I would not talk to you until
Really?
it's over. Until it's over, nah.
Wow.
No. Of course I would.
Disrespect.
Nah, so they've played 3 times this year, and Milwaukee's won every game.
Yeah,
But Embiid hasn't played in any of them.
that's true.
Maxey had 30 the first time, 24, 31, and then Giannis had 32, 30, and then Dame had 39 the first time that we played at the very start of the season. So the averages, so Maxey's averaging 25 in the matchup. What's really important? What stands out in that matchup? So Dame, yeah, we'll talk about Dame. Dame is averaging the most assists out of anyone in that matchup, 6.9.
How many points is he
I want to see
averaging?
his shooting, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go basketball reference.
You can't say we don't delve into stats on this pod.
So this year, actually I'll go over his career because I like. No, it's not relevant, is it? It's not relevant because we've got different point guards,
different teams.
This year he's averaged 26, 1 steal, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and he's shooting. It doesn't say field goal percentage, but he's shooting 8 from 17 from the field, 40. That's 47%, something like that. And then from 3, he's about 30%. 33% actually. So it's not bad for Dame actually.
If we're
talking this
that's
year.
looking like a good matchup for him to score and be efficient or more efficient than he has been this year.
Because, I mean, I think we've lost defensive depth as well at the guard position, so I don't expect that to really go down for Dame. Maxey's a gritty defender. Like, he hustles, but I don't think naturally he's a very good defender. Really, he's got long arms, but he's not a vertical presence, really. And even when he tries to become a vertical presence, I feel like offenses are so good at drawing fouls these days that it's really hard for smaller defenders to really defend well. So in terms of guard matchups, I think Dame will be better than Maxey.
Also the experience.
And experience is big, isn't it? But then it'll be so interesting to see Giannis versus Embiid.
And when the playoff game slows down, because the Bucks have been, well, I know they were definitely at one point the worst fast break defense. So I feel like less fast breaks. Maxey thrives on that as well. He's a very good fast break scorer, very quick.
Very.
And I feel like Dame, more ISO possessions, more spaced out. I feel like he can pull up. And if he's making those shots, it just helps space the whole floor. And I think it makes the Bucks dangerous here.
You just got to rely on that. And then you've got Pat Bev as well at the other guard. So
Can rough him up.
can rough him up.
Can get him ejected. Get them both ejected at the same time.
And Pat Bev can guard 1 through 3 as well, and he's a good kick out option. Not all the time, but
He can knock down
on
shots.
days. And if we talk about Giannis against Philly as well, we can sort of talk about the last few years because our big lineup hasn't changed in a couple of years.
True.
But it's actually been the exact same. 28.3 in 2023, 28.3 in 2024. 13 rebounds. And he's shooting. Jeepers, that scares me. Like 70% from the field
Yeah, and that's not even...
against Embiid.
Yeah.
Um,
Jeepers creepers.
Jeepers creepers.
Mate, that makes me confident. And
but-
Giannis has been shooting insane this year. Especially in this past couple.
He's been
weeks.
shooting a lot better. And then again, Embiid will be coming off an injury. It's going to be a lot harder for him, even though it'll impact him. It will impact him to some degree. We can't
It
just
will. We
negate
can't-
the fact
yeah.
that it's
And also, with this lack of movement, that also favours Brook Lopez in that matchup. I don't know if they'll put Giannis on Embiid. I think it would be Brook.
yeah.
So because Brook's not the fastest and he's more of a strictly paint defender, if Embiid is, inhibited by that injury, then I feel like that favours Brook as well to be better in the coverage.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to quickly look at Embiid versus Milwaukee stats, and then I think we'll be done with that. I think we'll have it.
We've delved deep
enough
into
of
this
a
because
case.
there are teams.
So this year he's played one game, actually, but he didn't play well. That's why I didn't count him.
I think when we go through the rest of them, we should just...
we won't be as in depth.
Yeah, when we go through, Milwaukee versus the next matchup, we just don't
Discuss
go
it
through
too
every
hard.
single thing and we just,
Yeah. This year, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, shooting, not good. 40% as a big man. So,
Yeah.
and that's with Brook in, that's with Giannis in.
Not just to annoy you, but I like the Philly matchup as a Bucks fan.
I like it for you, to be honest, this year. But we've got money in the off season, so Paul George.
We're not talking about the offseason.
Paul George,
No,
please come to Philly.
No,
Please.
no.
Save us.
It's not happening.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bucks in 6 with an injured Embiid.
Agreed, actually. Agreed. I think we'll take a game at least. Game or two. Next up, Cavs Pacers.
This is interesting because, again, these teams could, or the Pacers especially, Magic and Knicks could flip around, but we're going to go with the Pacers here.
You're
That's
going
so
with the
interesting.
Pacers?
No. I'm talking about what team they're going to verse.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I missed the first bit. Yep.
Cleveland has just looked too good. Pacers just too inconsistent. Yes, they had the best. I don't know if they still do the best offense.
Not of all time, but they still have the best in the league.
Yeah, in the league. But their defense is just not great. Halliburton has taken a step back since the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I like Tyrese, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those reasons, Cleveland, just as a team, they're so well-rounded. We see when their big players don't step up or they're out. Players like Dean Wade step up and fill those roles. And they're just a nitty-gritty, hustle team. And, yeah, I like the Cavs here.
Yeah, shout out the better D Wade. But Cleveland are top 10 in both defense and offense, whilst Indiana, they're the best offensive team in the league, and they have been all season. Not as good after the All-Star break and after the trade, because, of course, Halliburton was injured, and he's been pretty in shocking form as of recent. Dropped 0 points about a week ago. And historically, when we see a top 10 team in both offense and defense, they make it deeper into the playoffs than teams that don't have
Yeah,
that.
I don't know what the stat is, but I've seen them delve into, how many of the last champions were a top 10 defense, and it's all of them pretty much.
Except for Dallas, I think, 2014.
Yeah, but that's, to be an anomaly, I don't think the Pacers are an anomaly in
No.
this playoffs.
No. Their defense just isn't good enough. And when we talk about matchups, we won't dive into them, but I think the big man matchups, they're just going to completely shut down Miles Turner and
Yeah, Jarrett Allen on the defensive end.
the
the Fro.
Fro, the Twin Towers. even when we're talking about guards, they've just got better scoring power as well. I think even though Tyrese is the best pick and roll guard in the league, I still think Donovan and Garland picking up
just too
form
much.
as well. They're just too much. Agreed.
So I'm going to go Cavs in. Is it rude to say Cavs in 5?
No, not at all.
I'm going to say Cavs in 5.
That's what I'm gonna say as well. I'm in agreement.
Like the Pacers have done a lot this year, and they've definitely been a team that's been very exciting and interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
As is the team with the best offense.
Yep.
But yeah, I just don't see them getting it done. The lack of experience, the playoff stage,
And they need to make
slows down.
moves in the off season. I think defensively, add more defensive presence. I think.
Yeah, Siakam was a good addition, but
I think guard wise.
Yeah,
in my
I agree.
opinion,
I agree.
and Benedict's out for the season as well. So
True.
we're gonna count him out. So it's just the Cavs.
okay. Next up, Knicks Magic. This is really interesting. I think.
I'm
Because
definitely
the Magic
going the
haven't been in
Knicks.
playoffs
I'm
in
going
the
the
past
Knicks.
couple of years, so it's interesting to see the Magic in a playoffs matchup. Shout
It's-
out Brent.
It's the Knicks.
It's the Knicks though, unfortunately.
Yeah. They just
The experience. Brunson and Randall's inconsistent, but Brunson is going to take over in playoffs. We've seen it.
if we talk about intangibles as well, they are just a hard fighting team. When you watch the Knicks, they just fight for everything. We talk about players like Josh Hart. We've got defensive
Yeah, Josh
tenacity, OG Anunoby, who will be back by then, hopefully. Jalen Brunson's just the most... he's a physical defender, and most of all, he's physical on offense as well. I think they're just going to break down the Orlando Magic physically.
Yeah, it's just the hustle. Josh Hart nearly has 20-20 game every other night. Because
Yeah.
I picked him up on fantasy. So I
Great.
know that.
Yeah, wow. That's a great pickup. But next year, Orlando fans,
It might be a different story.
it's going to be a different story, I think. But this year, I'm going the Knicks.
Knicks
I'm actually a bit huge on the Knicks. As long as Randall's back, we got to count on Randall being back by then. And if he's not back, I'm calling it a much tighter matchup, and I think it'll come down to maybe even 7 games. But if Randall's back, I'm just giving it to Orlando. I'm giving it to them. I think it's easy as that for me.
You said Orlando, New York.
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Yeah,
Chill.
I'm going to go Knicks in 6. I'll give the Magic 2. Knicks in 6.
Okay.
It's just Randall was coming back as well, I think, is a factor. But Brunson is just too good. He's just too good.
Yeah. If we're presuming no injuries, I'm actually just giving it to New York in 5. Orlando will take
Wow.
1. Orlando will take 1, but
They definitely will at least take 1 for sure.
yeah.
So
That's the first round.
that's the first round. We're going to move
for,
on to
for the East.
Are we, do you want to do the second round for the East now? Or do you want to do
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's keep with it.
So we got Boston versus New York in the second round. That is crazy.
Crazy matchup. I want to see that.
I want to
For
see
real.
that. That's one of the best matchups in basketball.
The atmosphere at all the games is going to be insane.
Both have extremely passionate fan bases.
But again, realistically, Celtics too good.
Yeah, because
They're too well rounded.
even though New York have tenacity, I think Boston almost have the same. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back because Boston this year are very 3 dominant. They're not very physical.
They are.
So I'm going to take that back. But I still think Boston, just skill wise, they're just going to dismantle New York.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, you
The
can't.
Celtics are too good. Yeah, just with the 3-point shooting and their ability on defense as well with Drew, with Porzingis. I think it's just too much.
It's just unfortunate for the Knicks that they're going against Boston because I would give them a chance against basically any other team
Yeah, they
the
definitely have a
East.
shot.
in the
But
East.
it's Boston 5 for me.
It's Boston 4 for me.
Wow, the sweep. I haven't put out a sweep yet. I think I have.
New York aren't getting a game, and
I
I
said
don't
Boston
think.
Miami sweep.
Did we?
I said that.
You said that. Okay. And
Quote me on that.
I just want to quickly look at the Boston versus Knicks matchups this year. Obviously, there were trades mid-year with OG Anunoby, and he's been big. But we've got the Celtics, who have won 2 games out of 2, and then they're going to play each other on the 12th of April. And the wins have been at least 10-point wins both
Yeah,
times.
it's just not looking good.
No, it's not. And they were both, I think, after OG's trade as well. At least one of them definitely was. The other was teetering on the edge of the trade period, so I'm not quite sure. But let's just not overthink it. And
But yeah,
just,
Celtics go through to the conference finals.
it's Boston.
It has to be. It's yeah. And
Next
then
up,
we have the Bucks
versus
versus Cleveland.
Bucks v
Interesting
Cleveland.
matchup.
I'm scared if I'm the Bucks.
You're scared.
I'm scared if I'm the Bucks.
I'm not scared.
Against Cleveland.
No, I'm nervous. I'm not like. I'm
What's
not.
the difference between nervous and scared? Dude?
There's a big difference.
Okay,
I'm not,
okay.
I'm not full on like terrified.
Yeah.
I'm wary. I know Cleveland is a good side. I know defensively they're going to be good. So we just need to step it up. I think. Yeah, maybe put Pat Bev on Spider. Could be interesting.
It's just like because you don't have. I mean, you've got Pat Bev, but Damian Lillard defensively this year has let you down as a team.
Yep.
And when you've got Garland and Donovan Mitchell, both extreme offensive threats, I think it's even if you do match up Beverly against Donovan Mitchell, I think because of how shifty and how creative Darius Garland is, especially he's coming into form now, and we see how good he is. It's going to be hard for Dame to keep up with him, in my opinion, defensively. Obviously, it's a whole another story on the other end of the court where you've got Garland, who's not as good of a defender, and I mean, you might have Donovan matched up against Dame, but even then, it's not a fair matchup. I think Dame is much better offensively. So you've both got really, I think, your guards, I think on both sides, are going to dominate on offense. Dominate, I don't know, depends on the day. But I think the main thing here is when we talk about Giannis versus
Mobley and
Allen. Who do you think would guard Giannis? In my opinion, it's Mobley.
Yeah, more lengthy, more versatile as a defender. If I was Cleveland, I'd put Mobley on Giannis.
But even then, you've got Jarrett Allen right there. I mean, he's going to be guarding Brook, but is Giannis good enough of a defender to kick out over a 7-footer who's between him? So you have Jarrett Mobley playing
as good as a passer.
You reckon against two of the biggest backcourt?
You said defender. Good as a defender.
Sorry, my bad. I'm fucking up my words today. But I just think it's going to be hard.
Giannis definitely underrated passer, but yeah, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, it really depends on if Giannis can overcome that matchup. What's the matchup? Can we look at the matchup for this year? Because I know we definitely lost one. But again, Cleveland do have playoff experience, but they haven't made it that far. Bucks more playoff experience. That comes into as a factor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the matchup.
We've had Dame make the Western Conference Finals before and a stacked Western Conference as well. So, so they've played in 3 games, I believe. No. They've played in 4 games.
Yeah, in the same division.
It's an even
split.
Even split. Cleveland won the most recent one by 12 points. Bucks won by 10 in another one. Cavs won by 40 points.
Yeah, but we didn't have any players for that one.
You had Dame. You didn't have Giannis.
We had Thanasis in for most of the game, so that tells you what you need to know.
And then Bucks won by 8. So if we talk about net point differential, it's Cavs. But then again, the
one blowout was yeah. So pretty even. Playoffs slowing it down. Yeah, you're right. I don't like this matchup for the Bucks personally, but I'm still going to back my team here. We're Bucks in 7. Stretch it to 7. Yeah, that's my prediction. I wouldn't be mad if you predicted the Cavs because it is a favorable matchup for them. But I just think the experience and Giannis, we've seen him step up in big games, so I think he can do it still.
I think the Cavs have just surprised everyone, and I'm going to surprise you here and say Cavs in 7.
I said I'm not surprised.
I just really like their team. I really like the team, and I don't think it's really going to change too much for the playoffs because you've got a playmaking guard, you've got a scoring guard, and you've got first of all, you've got a offensive presence in the paint. Jarrett Allen, even though he's not anywhere near a Giannis level, he's still like a borderline all-star. He's almost back in the same form that he was when he was an all-star. Mobley hasn't improved as much as you'd like to see.
No, not on the offensive end, especially.
Offensively, and even defensively. I thought, like, I had a prediction a couple of years ago where I thought
gonna
he
be
was going to be
DPOY.
Defensive Player of the Year. But still, I just think not even on paper, just like matchup-wise, purely off matchups, I'm going to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not salty at all.
No, who are we going to go? Because we gotta pick.
Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. The Celtics are beating whoever gets through, in my opinion. Either team.
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, we'll talk about both scenarios. We'll talk just quickly about both.
Yeah.
So we got Boston versus Cleveland. I'm going Boston in 6 games.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Boston in 6.
Boston versus Milwaukee. I'm going. I like the matchup between Milwaukee and Boston a little bit better than
Yes,
I do the
I
Cavs.
agree.
So I'm going 7 games. Oh no, I'm going 6 games still. I'm going 6
I'm
games.
going 6 games, but I'm going 6 better games because if we're talking about the Cleveland Milwaukee matchup, if that goes to 7, which we predicted, tied, health could be an issue, and Boston have just come off a fresh win against New York. They're feeling it. I just feel like it's going to be too hard, unfortunately. And so with that, we have the Celtics.
But then again, there is the thing where the Boston Celtics will have to wait a few games.
I don't think that matters. They're going to have someone who's firing on the night. It's just
Statistically,
I don't
it is
like
hard
it
to
how
play
it-
after
how-
6 games. It is hard days. I mean, it's hard to have a 6-day break.
it's also hard to
And
play after 7 games.
I feel like you're more in a
Really?
flow though, because it is like a 2-day break between then and-
Depends. Bar injuries, yeah.
I mean, playoff
I still
intensity is a different beast, so
is.
it will be hard to recover. But
Yeah, okay. We've got the Celtics making
We
the
got the
finals.
Celtics
No
making the
real
finals.
surprise, I think.
Yep.
I think most fans would agree with that.
yeah,
Or at least the Bucks, the Celtics, or the Cavs at this point.
yeah. Let's remember these brackets because I really want to compare. I think it'd be cool at the end of
Yeah.
the season to really
For
compare
sure.
what we had at this point in the
Yeah.
season.
And then in the West,
The West.
let's move it on.
Are you going to put OKC number 1 seed for the season? I think Denver will become the number 1 seed by
You
the
think so?
end of the season. Yep. It's 1 game between them, and OKC just became the first seed yesterday.
Yeah.
Even though OKC look like they're in incredible form, Denver has won 4 in a row. And
I just think we do it as it is.
all right, happy with that.
You happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I feel like it doesn't.
We'll
It's
talk
not
about
going to affect
right
my bracket
now.
too much.
Yep.
Okay,
we got
let's go to playing.
Phoenix versus Dallas is crazy as a playing game. I'd much prefer to see this in a playoff series.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're both in the play-in.
I don't think it'll end up like this, to be honest. But
Maybe not, but we're going to talk about how it is now. So,
who you got?
Phoenix Big 3. They haven't played too many games together. Luka against the Suns.
It's either they lose by 30 points or they win by 30 points. So
Actually, this is really close.
it is. So let me give you a little bit of context.
My heart wants to go the Mavs. My brain's going the Suns.
So
I know the matchup is bad for the Suns.
So
as
if we're
it's been.
talking about since the acquisition of, the acquisitions in the trade period, we've had the Mavericks win by 10 points and the Suns win by 27 in another game. So it's just so it's always so one-sided, but it always alters between them who's
So
one-sided.
it's pretty much anyone's guess here, but unfortunately, I like the Mavs a lot. I like Luka a lot, but I think the Suns Big 3 in a playoff game or play-in game. It's basically a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get the job done. The rivalry in the playoffs has been one-sided. You know, obviously with Luka a couple of years ago, but yeah, in this game, the new Suns lineup. I know they're still getting to know each other, but I think in a one game they can win, especially if Kyrie. It depends on Kyrie.
Yep.
is Curry going to step up and be an efficient scorer for the night? If he is, the Mavs win. Because we know what Luka's going to do. We know the new defense that Gafford and PJ Washington provide. But yeah, I'm going to go Suns here.
So when the Mavericks won, they had Curry play well. They had Luka in. Luka scored 40. Suns didn't have Beal.
Exactly. That's my point.
And they lost by 10.
Curry has to play well for them to win.
And then the Suns, in the other game, when they won by 27, the Mavs had Luka in, but no Kyrie, and the Suns had the big three. But
Yeah,
I'm still
Kyrie's
giving it
the
to
factor.
I'm giving it to the Suns,
Yeah.
personally.
It's an unfortunate playing matchup.
It is, because Mavericks are capable of a top 3 seed, in my opinion. Top 4 seed, at least. But it's the Suns for me. Just the star power. And I'm not a huge fan of the lineup that they run at the moment. I think they need a facilitating guard, because I don't quite like Booker as the facilitator on the team. I think he's a lot better off the ball. KD's a lot better off the ball. Bill's a lot better off the ball. I think the Suns could be a lot better than they are at the moment.
I agree, is that they haven't reached their full potential, and obviously they haven't played many games together, which I keep saying. But
Yep.
I think in the one game, they get it done here.
Yeah. Give them Lonzo Ball, and then they're going to... I'm not even kidding. They're going to tear up.
Well, is Lonzo going to be the same? It's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. We won't get into that. But next we got Lakers versus Golden State.
We've seen this.
This is so, why is this the play-in? We've got two, incredible matchups. Curry versus LeBron.
Two of the best of all time.
Yeah. Who you got?
It's so tough. I'm going to go the Lakers. I know they're inconsistent. So have the Warriors. The Warriors, I feel like they're feeling that age more. I know LeBron's old as, but...
Oldest player in the league.
Yeah. I feel like when Curry doesn't play well, they get smashed every single time. And we've seen Curry be obviously I love Curry. He's on my fantasy team, so I keep track of his stats every game, and he has been inconsistent as of late. So I just don't think... I think you got LeBron or AD or even D'Lo who can step up on nights. I feel like the Warriors, it's Curry or bust, really, in this situation. So if Curry steps up, I can see them winning this, but I'm going to go the Lakers.
We've actually got the Lakers versus the Warriors tomorrow at 11 a.m. So
That could be a preview.
there's a little preview.
I'm going to go, Lakers, because we've seen them verse in the play, and LeBron with a dagger. Again, close game, amazing game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go Lakers. What do you think?
I'm going to go with... it's just too tight. It's just too tight, because you get a good Steph Curry game, I'm giving it to the Warriors. But if you get a good LeBron and AD game, I'm giving it to the Lakers. But just so much championship DNA on Golden State, I'm going Golden State.
Yeah. I'm fine. I'll give you this one because I took the
Nice.
last.
Lakers miss the playoffs. Wow.
I mean, I think they're missing it anyway. I think the next matchup, Dallas versus Golden State, I'm going Dallas.
Dallas versus Golden State, you're going Dallas.
I can't see this team missing the playoffs with Luka averaging 35 triple-double nearly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I can't. If Curry can't score 40, he can.
He can.
But yeah, I know that's a stupid statement. But yeah, all I'm saying is the Warriors can't depend on Curry for back-to-back 40-point efficient shooting nights. He can do it, but I just don't think. I think Luka is more consistent.
We also
on that
need
basis,
Wiggins in form.
which he's not.
Chris Paul is actually he's not extremely valuable, not as valuable as he has been in previous years, but he's still
old.
a huge part of the team.
We need Draymond to get it ejected or suspended.
No, but on Chris Paul, I think he's still such an
He raises
amazing
the
creator.
ceiling
He's
of
such an
the
amazing
team, yeah.
creator, and Steph Curry off the ball. When you've got two players capable, Draymond Green and Chris Paul, of hitting Curry, Clay in their spots, getting them open, of handoffs, of off-ball screens. In theory,
Who are you going?
sorry, I'm. You're right. I'm sorry. That's even though they're really good. I'm giving it to Dallas.
It just hasn't been their year.
I'm giving it to Dallas.
They're aging. I just don't see it.
Dallas in a close game.
Okay, so now we've got
In my opinion.
we've got the same lineup as the current top 8.
Yep.
So we've got OKC versus Dallas. It's so interesting.
I'm still giving it to OKC. Even though they
I think
lack
about it. I have
experience.
to sit forward. I'm sat up in my chair.
Even though they lack experience, I think after watching OKC as of recent, I just think Shea's offense is just almost unstoppable. But we'll go into that when we go into the deeper into the playoffs as matchups. But I think Dallas don't really have anyone to match up against Shea. I mean, Derek. Well, we saw this exact matchup yesterday, and OKC won.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give it to OKC, but it just sucks that the Mavericks are out in the first round when Luka's having such a good season.
Yeah, they had Derek Jones
It looks
against.
so promising.
Yeah, they had Derek Jones against Shea, who I would say is their most capable defender to guard Shea, and Shea just cooked him.
Yeah, the defense is just not good enough. I was going to say with OKC, they need someone to come with Shea. Like, you have to rely on either Giddy or Dort or J Will or Chet to.
It's J Dub. It is J Dub that is going to be the X factor.
Wow, you had it here first.
Because
he is.
yesterday he dropped around 23. It was either 21 or 23. But I don't know if he just takes mad inspiration from Shea, but he's got the physical tools. While Shea has like the explosiveness and like stop on the spot sort of explosiveness. As like a 20-year-old or 21-year-old, J-Dub's body is like a 30-year-old's.
He's a big
and
boy.
he's got that mid-range game as well.
Yeah.
So when you've got your best defender guarding Shea and you've got your secondary defender guarding J-Dub, I still think J-Dub's got I think J-Dub's still going to cook in that matchup.
And I just agree the fact that the Maverick guard defense is just atrocious. It's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And OKC, Shea, he's been consistent all year. Everything he does in his life is consistent.
No,
I'm going to go OKC in 6. Because I see Mavericks definitely winning a couple there. But
I also failed to... We failed to talk about Luka on offense, though, because I think that'll change it up a lot, and I think it'll be much closer than it was yesterday because, of course, Luka was out yesterday. But we did see a really, really good Kyrie game. He scored 30 plus. I forgot exactly what it was, but he shot like 70% from the field. He had a crazy game. So like I would say it goes to 7 because that's with Luka in. But I'm going OKC, just barely. I think it's going to be like an exceptional matchup. I think every game will come down very close.
Sweet. Okay, we've got OKC moving on. Denver, Phoenix. And this is an unfortunate matchup for the Phoenix Big Three because Denver is the reigning champs and they're too good. Denver is taking it.
They're another one of those
5.
teams that are top 10 in both, whilst Phoenix... They're definitely a top 10 on offense, but they're just not quite there defensively. I think they were 18th from memory. I did look all of this up yesterday. But, I'm just giving it to Denver.
It has to be. The
It just has to
chemistry
be.
is too good. Jamal Murray in the playoffs, Jokic combination, it has to be.
If Boston can't stop Denver, then
Who can?
who can?
Who can?
You're right. Maybe I don't want to go too deep. Minnesota on defense, if they get Cat back.
Cold like Minnesota.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But I think Denver just comes away with against Phoenix. I think in 5 games.
Yeah, that's why I said 5.
Yep.
Minnesota.
Sack
Down. Look, it's
Mini and
Minnesota. I think
I
it's their
think-
time to win a playoff series.
I think it's Minnesota, but I really like Sacramento. I think
Fox is a good playoff performer, even though he hasn't been as consistent in the regular season as of late. Sabonis has been crazy this year. I know how much you've been on the Sabonis train.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Minnesota, they've outperformed all expectations. Best defense in the league. It just has to be.
I like Sacramento's depth a little bit more than Minnesota's
Yeah, I
personally.
agree.
Malik Monk, 6th man of the year. You got Kevin Herter, who if he can turn it on, then Sacramento actually I think has a good shot in this series. But Anthony Edwards, I feel like we haven't seen him that much in the playoffs, but I just feel like he's one of those players that is just gonna. He cares about winning,
just
and he's
gonna step up.
He's
Yeah.
gonna step up.
Yeah.
Nothing but
I'm
it.
going to say it goes to. I want to say 7, but
I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna say 7.
yeah, but I feel like it's going to be 7, but it's not going to be as close as some other
Okay.
7-game series. You know what I mean? On a game-to-game basis.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think again we talk about unfortunate first round matchups. I think Sacramento. I would love them to get some deeper playoff experience because I think they've really got a
literally
shot.
every team in here, I would like to get deep playoff experience, pretty much.
True, they're just young. It's a young side, isn't it? A young
But unfortunately, you come up against the best defense in the league, and I think that's just how it ends.
just tough.
Clippers, Pelicans. Look, it's the Clippers, isn't it? It's the Clippers.
They're good. They're a really good fourth quarter team. Well, that we have seen them crumble as well in the fourth quarter defensively. But I sort of do want to go a little bit into matchups in this one.
Yeah, okay.
I really like Kawhi Leonard versus Zion.
Yep.
Because Kawhi, his appearance sort of deceives you a little bit. Because I feel like Zion being like the most powerful player in the league, I still feel like Kawhi has the ability to stop him.
Zion's
in some
not
cases.
that tall.
No,
He's 6'6".
Kawhi is taller than Zion Williamson, but he's more of a vertical presence. But then again, Kawhi has longer arms. He's more nabby on defense as well.
Whoever's guarding, it's either going to be PG or Kawhi guarding Zion and Brandon Ingram. And I think that's just the defense is too much to overcome for an inexperienced Pelicans team. I like what they've been doing as of late.
I think Ingram's underrated though. I don't know if
I agree.
Do you think
He's in the best in the mid range.
So you think Paul George will be the matchup against Ingram,
I think so.
and you think Paul George will be able to effectively stop him?
I think so.
Hmm.
I just think that when they slow the game down, the playoff experience, we're joking about playoff paid, but realistically, Paul George is a very good defender.
But then we talk about point Zion because
True. That's a different
even though
dimension.
Kawhi is a capable defender on Zion, and maybe they won't need a double two, like maybe we'll see how it goes. But I think they'll end up collapsing on Zion. You will need at least another player to help out. And then they're going to be open shooters regardless. And I don't think, because they run a small lineup, and I don't think they're going to have Zubac. Zubac will be their first string, won't he? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to play in a point zone situation as effectively because he's going to have to rotate and he's not a quick.
No, but also, if the Pelicans are playing small, Zubac is going to dominate on the rebounds.
You're right.
He's going to dominate on the boards.
You're right.
So, I like.
But Valanciunas is a good shooter. Like
He is. He's on my fantasy. Again, I see it.
I personally think it's going to be 7, and I'm going with New Orleans.
I'm going 7, but I'm going Clippers.
Damn. Can you plead your case, and you try and convince me. Just try and convince me.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm down to be convinced.
Okay. First, I'm going to talk about the playoff experience. Veterans, Harden, Paul George, Kawhi. Kawhi's a champ. Paul George and Harden have made deep playoff runs. And I know their late game mishaps have been a big point of contention. But do you not remember how we were talking about the Clippers earlier in the season? How well they were playing? I think they can do that. And I think when they slow the game down, Brandon Ingram's going to be less effective off the mid-range. Yes, point zone is a good factor, and Valanciunas is a good shooter, but Valanciunas doesn't shoot that many shots. He's efficient. Trust me, I have him on my fantasy. I see how many shots he takes. And there's definitely nights where he shoots 3 for 3, but he only shoots 3 shots. And I just don't think that's enough. And I don't know if their shooting from the Pelicans is good enough to outweigh. I just like it for the Clippers. But what's your case? Plead your case.
We talked about the Clippers earlier in the season, but that was before the Pelicans made those changes. I would be I've ranted about the Pelicans before. We've ranted about the Clippers before. They're just both such capable offenses. But just like even defensively matched up, I don't mind. I mean, Jose defending Harden, Westbrook is going to be tough. I think that guard matchup's going to be hard for the Pelicans. But I think they've got them matched up. Yeah. Okay. I'll go.
He concedes. Yeah.
Because it's experience.
Yeah, it
in
just
the
has
end,
to be.
in the end, I think they're very similar to not similar teams, but matched up.
Yeah, we
I think
we
they're very
both chose
similar.
7-game series on either side, so obviously it's going to be
But
close.
it does come down to experience in a lot of cases. So, and when you bring in Kawhi, I think Kawhi is a factor
The
alone.
X factor, yeah.
I think it's just time for the Clippers as well to make a run because
It is.
they've had that pairing for how many years 4 or 5 years,
Yeah, it's been a while now.
and they just haven't made.
Yeah, the first they made was the conference finals versus the Suns, but they
Yeah.
only had Paul George.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's time.
Okay.
With the rebrand, does that play a factor?
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but yeah. So now we've got the Clippers moving on. So
Cool.
that second round matchup is
OKC and the Clippers.
Clips.
Does
interesting.
your theory stand about experience? Because you've got the average age 24 years old for the OKC Thunder, whilst the Clippers are the oldest team in the league. Youngest versus oldest.
Can we bring off the matchups?
Yeah.
Bring up the matchups this year. This is very close in my head. I'm throwing it up.
Jarvis, pull it up. So, in the first matchup, you had the Thunder win by almost 20, 19 points.
Okay.
Second matchup, you had the Clippers win by 11 points.
Yep.
Third matchup, you had the Clippers win by 22.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the Clippers. The Thunder win by 22. And Shea went off in all of them. 31 in the most recent.
Of course.
You had, who was their second best? I would say Chet was their second best, 17 and 10. And then you had 18 points for J Dub. On the other side, no one scored above 20. Sorry, Kawhi had 20. Nobody else scored above 20. You had Norman Powell with 19, Harden with 17, only 6 assists. But it'd be good to see. Okay, we'll talk about the other one. We'll see. Make sure that all of the players were playing as well, because that's a big factor. Yes, you did have most players playing in this one. You had Paul George with 38 in a win. Kawhi Leonard with 16, 6 and 6. Harden with 16, 8 and 5. And then on the other side, you had Shea with only 19 and 34 minutes, which is uncharacteristic. But J Dub, has just consistently played well against the Clippers. He had 25 this game.
But we're talking about J-Dub, I think in playoffs coming against who's going to guard him.
Who's going to guard J Dub?
Yeah.
Kawhi.
And I think that's tough, especially in playoffs. The extended hustle. We've seen Kawhi. Kawhi's playoff mentality is up there amongst the greats. So
But I just don't think it's about that. I think it's about the attention that Shea draws. He had 30. Shea had 31 in another game against him. So
well, are you gonna put Paul George on Shea if you're the Clippers?
yes,
And I think that's definitely a factor. We can't go back and look at the tapes, but was he guarding him during these games? I don't think so.
I think he would have been though, because who
Think
else
so?
would you put against Shea? Kawhi.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to seen it, but obviously it's a bit of a big ask now. But
So in the first game, I'll also mention that Kawhi was not playing in the first game, and that's when the Thunder won by 20, almost 20 points. So
realistically, it's about even in terms of outs, and so assuming all fully healthy.
I'm still going with the Thunder personally. I'm on the Thunder train since watching them in a few games. Just Shea's offense is just unbelievable.
unstoppable.
And then defensively, they've got J-Dub, who could be an all NBA defender in the coming years. Then you've got Chet Holmgren, who's top 4 in defensive player of the year.
I'm gonna go Thunder in 7, but I don't even like the Clippers that much, but it hurts my soul because the Clippers, I don't know, they've been so good.
Yeah, and Russell Westbrook winning a ring.
Yeah, I found myself rooting for the old boys. But yeah, Thunder in 7. I think it's gonna be very close though. I think the defensive matchups are gonna be key in this matchup.
Yep.
So
there we go.
okay.
We got the Thunder winning.
Finally got it done.
And then next we got the Denver Nuggets versus
Minnesota.
Mini. Wow, that's a two versus 3.
We've seen this.
Uh-huh.
We've seen this matchup.
Who won?
What, are you serious? In the playoffs last year.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about this year with the updated teams.
No,
I suppose they do have very similar teams.
Yeah, it's just
It's
really
not the same.
yeah, it's just the Timberwolves have
improved.
come into their own. It's not
Mhm.
really big changes they've made.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go Nuggets. You know me. I'm gonna have to go Nuggets. The consistency, the chemistry. I do feel like it's gonna be definitely closer than last year. We saw them win. They win 2 games. It's either 1 or 2 that Minnesota took against them last year. I think it's gonna be Nuggets in 6. That's me.
Yeah. I really like it's my favorite matchup against Denver in the West. I don't think any other team really would have a chance against Denver in a 7-game series, but with the 2 defensive bigs, Cat being extremely versatile on offense and defense, and often Jokic not playing as an on-ball defender or avoiding it as much as possible. It's tough. Anthony Edwards versus Jamal Murray.
Playoff Jamal Murray.
Playoff Jamal Murray. I think the pick and roll with Jokic and Murray, I just think the pairings on the Denver Nuggets are just too much for most teams, for almost every team. Of course, we'll get into Boston, but just, yeah, it's got to be Denver.
It has to be.
But it's
Can't
in
go
6
against-
games for me.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yep. So we've got Nuggets Thunder.
Nuggets Thunder.
This is where the Thunder story fairy tale comes to an end for me. Just the lack of experience.
Mhm.
It's not their year.
I'm
Nuggets.
agreeing with you. Chet, even though he's a great defender, I don't think he stands a chance against.
No, Jokic is just gonna take his time. He's gonna shoot efficient shots, and he's gonna make those shots. And
And I don't think J Dub has the defensive anticipation for Aaron Gordon as well, because it always ends up whenever Jokic is so good at seeing the floor that when you've got you've got Aaron Gordon in the dunker's spot, and usually help comes from there because of course that's the defender that's closest to the paint, and when you've got Jokic in the paint, that's natural for that defender to come running in, and then it's just hard because you've got what they do. They have Aaron Gordon and a shooter in the same corner, so that when the help defender comes, Aaron Gordon's defender comes, the defender who's guarding the perimeter needs to make a decision of whether to guard Aaron Gordon or the guy in the corner, and that leaves at least one of them open. It's just going to be, I don't think OKC has the defensive anticipation or experience to beat a team like that.
I agree. So we've
Just
got,
overpowering, and especially when we talk about the Nuggets, who are the clutchest team in the league at the moment. And
Yeah.
I think it was almost of all time.
they're pretty clutch. They've won a lot of close games, and that's what's important in the playoffs.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Denver in 5. I'd say a bit of a blowout.
I agree with you. It's just
Gentlemen's.
OKC, yeah. OKC's experience just isn't enough. Gentlemen's sweep.
Yeah, especially if OKC go toe to toe with the Clippers in a big series. Again, I
You
believe
factor in
that
the-
it makes them more tired. So
Yep. Wow.
yeah, okay, we got pretty much the likely matchup that most people think.
Mhm.
Nuggets and the Celtics in the finals. This is big.
Mm.
I think this goes 7.
This goes to 7 year.
I think so.
I've got, it's tough.
I think it goes 7. And hear me out. I think it goes Celtics. Big call. Drop
Well,
the bomb
it's-
on him.
It's about time, isn't it?
It is. And the better team, we saw last matchup. Okay, we were talking about this last week a little bit. But Boston versus Denver. Nuggets won just when Jokic had an insanely efficient triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
The whole team played well. Aaron Gordon played really well.
Mm-hmm.
And the Celtics shot far below their average from three. And they didn't change their game plan, which, yes, can be a factor. But let's say they shoot average for that game. They win. You know? And the Nuggets pretty much threw everything at them. And it only just worked. That's really stuck in my head. As
Nuggets
a big
have won
factor.
both matchups this year. Does that matter to you?
No. Because again, we talked about the last game was insanely close. Yes, the Porzingis-Jokic matchup can be taken advantage of by the Celtics. Oh, no, by the Nuggets,
By the
because Jokic put Porzingis in a blender the last time they played. But Porzingis isn't a terrible defender.
No, he's a decent
He's
shot
a decent,
blocker.
yeah.
But it's just Jokic.
Yeah, it's
just
Jokic. So yes, they can do that, but I think the Celtics as an overall defense, yes, Jokic is an insane passer, but the Celtics is the best team that's going to limit that passing ability, their defense.
But like, I feel like every team, regardless, even the Boston Celtics, I think they just panic when it comes to defending Jokic. And they panic when it comes to the Jokic, Jamal Murray pick and roll. Because I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the double spin into the fake hook shot floater for Aaron Gordon's lob?
Yeah. Insane.
Like,
yeah, and I'm saying
they
that's
had no
I'm saying that's
idea.
all well and good.
They threw 4 bodies at Jokic, and Jokic had 3 open options around him, and just throws up this floater to Aaron Gordon because that's just what he does.
I think the defensive in the playoffs especially slowed the game down. It's going to be more difficult, and I just think the Celtics are too well rounded at every position. We keep saying this, but they're too well rounded at every position. Drew versus Jamal, I like that for Drew.
Okay.
You know, I feel like it all comes down to Jokic versus Porzingis, but I think that's not enough.
It's not like it's isolation ball whatsoever.
No, I know.
Jamal doesn't play isolation ball.
I know, but
and he's
I'm
a
just
deceptive passer. I think the championship DNA when it comes to Denver, the experience,
You're gonna go
just
Denver.
how well they mesh together. This is the first year we've seen because it is a different core for not core, but it's a different lineup for Boston. Even though they've worked so well in the regular season, we've seen regular season teams who just aren't as good in the playoffs.
I agree.
I agree with you that I think they can convert into the playoffs. They're one of those teams that probably will convert into the playoffs. But we know how Denver is in the playoffs. And how they have been in years.
Are you going Denver?
I'm going Denver.
In 7?
Yeah, I'll go 7 games. I think it'll be close.
I'm going Celtics in 7. Come back to this when the NBA finals are over.
Boston will take some home games. But Denver will take some home games. And
I just think
the altitude, man.
Celtics, the
The
altitude.
altitude.
The
Comes
Celtics are
down to
just...
the altitude.
Look, I think we can agree to disagree, and I think definitely those have been the 2 best teams this year. So it makes sense.
It's not like we need to worry about a next round. So I'm happy with taking Denver. You're happy with taking Boston.
That's it. We
And
agree to
that's-
disagree. We don't disagree too much on
bullshit,
this, but on this pod, but
Nice.
disagree.
I can't wait to see that, honestly. Regardless, it's going to be an insane... As long as it's the finals, it's going to be an insane finals.
Sweet. Well, do we want to move on to some games because we've been recording for ages? Can you name the top 10 playoff scorers on average that are current in the league?
I know Giannis is on there, at least top 3.
He's not.
Giannis is not on the list?
He's 12.
Wow.
Just think of the younger years.
But did the Bucks make the playoffs in the younger years, though?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay. You see, that's what I thought. So we're talking like recent playoffs. Okay, Steph Curry.
Not on the list.
LeBron James.
Of course he's on the list. Number 3. Steph Curry's number 11. Just missed it.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you a hint. Think new school.
All right, we're going Luka. Luka's definitely
Luka's
on
number
there.
1, 32.5 points per game in the playoffs.
Mhm.
Crazy. You got 2.
Number 2. If we're talking new school, it's a little bit risky putting Anthony Edwards in there because...
You can just throw out guesses.
All right, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, He's number 4.
Number 4. Wow. Okay. Who's a Trae Young?
Yeah, so you've got 3. You've got Luka, LeBron, and Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. All right. Kevin Durant.
Number 2,
Russell Westbrook.
not on the list.
Not on the list.
Yeah, the later years have thrown him down.
Cleaned him out. This is controversial because I know James Harden doesn't play as well, but James Harden.
Not on the list. Mostly guards left.
Yeah. Jason Tatum.
Not on the list.
Wow. I'm surprised by that, actually. Donovan Mitchell? Definitely.
Number
Jamal Murray?
6.
Definitely. Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray's not on there.
Wow.
Jamal Murray's number 16.
So Donovan was number 6. Who else is in there? Guards, Damian Lillard.
Not on the list. He's number 15. You're missing. Remember the inflation of points. NBA scoring more points than ever.
There's a young fella.
You're missing number 5, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10.
Some young fellas. Some young fellas.
Young fellas.
Some young guards.
Young fellas on playoff teams.
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox is number 8. That's surprising. 27.4 points per game.
Let me think. I think it's out west is what I'm looking for. But I think I've named a lot of the out west.
One of them is really or pretty obvious. I think you should get. One of them has been out for a while. One of them we've talked about in one of the heavily contested playoff matchups. And one of them was in the play-in when we talked about it.
Okay. Play-in. We'll start with that. So if we're talking out west, Golden State, Lakers. Clay wouldn't be in there.
No, definitely not.
I'm going to throw out guesses. All right. Are we talking AD?
AD's not on there.
Are we talking
That division.
that division? Okay, we got the Kings, we got the Warriors, we got the Lakers, we got the Clippers.
One more team.
Who am I missing? Nuggets aren't in that.
Yeah, flame this man in the comments.
So we got Warriors, Clippers, Kings.
It's the Pacific Division.
Who am I missing?
I don't want to give it to you. I don't have to.
Why is it the only team that I need, and it's the one I can't think of?
I'm gonna say something and give it away, but I feel like you need this answer. Big 3. Big 3.
Oh, like Phoenix in that division?
Yeah.
Oh, the fuck! I thought they were in South.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Devin Booker.
Devin Booker,
Yeah.
number 5 with 28 points per game, which is pretty good. So you're missing 7, 9, and 10.
9 and
7,
10.
10 is unexpected. 9 has been out for a while.
9 has been out for a while.
And 7...
Ben Simmons.
7 is one of the best.
7's just one of the best. Giannis. I've said Giannis.
You said Giannis. Who's one of the best?
Joel.
No.
Who I haven't named? That's tough.
You're missing an obvious one.
Am I really? I just one of the
Obvious.
greats.
We were just talking about it.
just talking about it, like finals matchup type.
We're
stuff.
just talking about it.
Well,
Start now.
Jokic.
Jokic,
I
number
didn't
7.
You said I didn't expect Jokic to be out there.
27.5 points per game. So you're missing 9 and 10. One's been out for ages.
One's been out for ages. One has been out. Derrick Rose.
No.
It's a long time.
That has something to do with it, though. Kind of.
Played with Derrick Rose.
Yes.
Whether it's on the Carmelo Anthony.
No, he's not current.
Oh, we're talking current. My bad.
I'm going to say terrible team this year.
The Pistons.
No. Who
The
on
Wizards.
the Pistons is a playoff performer?
The Wizards.
What bad team this year has been in the playoffs?
Has been on the playoffs.
Yeah, the past couple of years. Which team has been in the playoffs?
Okay, who's fallen off a cliff? So not Wizards, not Pistons, not Charlotte Hornets,
Definitely not.
not Bulls.
It's due to injuries.
It's due to injuries. It's so hard to think on your feet. Like
It is.
when you've got 30 teams, it's like fuck.
Grit and grind.
Grit and grind. I feel like you're talking about an East team.
It's West.
It's West, okay. Not Portland. Portland.
No.
Oh.
Who on Portland is a playoff performer?
I know, but you said recently been good.
This is going to give it away. Shooter.
There's so many shooters in the NBA. Wait, let me think.
Think about it.
I'm thinking you're talking like a Texas team. Like a southern team. Utah? No. Utah.
No. Shooter.
Straight shooter.
Think about why I'd say that.
There are so many shooters, bro.
Tennessee. It's in Tennessee. I don't know how good you are with the states.
Is there a team? Oh, yeah, there is. Isn't there? Tennessee. Who's in Tennessee?
Curbin on Curbin.
Curbin on Curbin.
You know that song?
No.
It's a song that's going around and it's from that place.
Tennessee. You're talking West? What? Who've been good recently?
901 Shelby Drive.
Look alive, Memphis. John Moran.
John Moran,
yeah,
shooter.
yeah.
Come on, man.
I should have got that.
So that's number 9.
You see, Memphis for me this year have been so forgettable. It's like criminal.
Yeah, a team that was good, they're not good.
Due to injury, I should have
Curbin
gotten
on
that.
Curbin.
Curbin
It's a Memphis
Curbin.
accent.
Yeah, it's the Memphis accent.
And
Memphis, Tennessee.
number 10 is very difficult, but we have talked about them in a playoff matchup today.
Washed player or a young player?
No, just a player that you don't really think about. Underrated. You said they were underrated today. You said that.
Oh, okay. It is. Who was I talking about? No. Let me think. Severely underrated. Yes, because it was one player that I said that for.
I think it's the memory.
It's good. It's good. What's his name?
Has braids. Braids or cornrows.
It's a forward. I know that.
Skinny. Mid-range demon.
Not DeMar.
No. I literally compared DeMar and this person. No, I was talking about mid-ranges before. Gumbo.
Gumbo. The fuck? The fuck?
Gumbo.
Gumbo.
Where's Gumbo from?
I don't know who the fuck Gumbo is.
It's food.
Huh?
Jazz. Mardi Gras.
Oh. Does he like short women? Really, really
He
short
does.
women?
He does. It's Brandon Ingram.
Wow, Brandon Ingram's 10th?
Yeah, 27
What's he
points per
averaging?
game.
27 in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's interesting. I
Gee.
wouldn't think that. But yeah, that was the quiz.
Wow. Unexpected.
Made you think on your feet a bit.
It was tough. That was actually tougher than I thought. The top few were
You just
sort of
got
a
to
little bit
flat
expected.
names. If you're wrong
but-
or not, you just got to say names. Can you name the NBA team by the emojis?
The NBA team.
Don't scroll because there's another one.
Okay. the NBA teams by the emoji. So first of all, we got a little space alien thing. If we're talking about aliens, my mind immediately goes to the Spurs.
Okay.
Is it the Spurs?
It is not the Spurs.
Is it an alien
Some
or is it?
of them are like you have to think about, and some of them are pretty obvious.
Okay, we got Kyle Lowry for the second one. That's Philly.
Yeah, it's Philly. They gave it away.
Is it because they're booty cheeks? Are you calling them booty cheeks?
No, I'm not. But look at it. Wait, go back to me. Yeah, Kyle Lowry, the peach emoji. Tobias Harris, brick. He's a brick.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were doing that.
Oh, the whole team. Yeah, I was
I
doing
thought
the whole
you were doing
team.
like what's the team by the emoji?
Oh, well, no, I just did the whole team. Anyway,
So I just got it off of
Kyle Lowry. Yeah.
Kyle Lowry. Okay.
Yeah, well, you got it right
fuck.
anyway.
I'm actually sad that I didn't figure that out.
Kelly Oubre, Heartthrob. Astro World, Mo Bamba. And
We're talking like injured lineup.
no, this is the lineup you put out yesterday. I literally did the most
Okay.
recent lineup.
Okay.
And the Space Invader, which is gaming, and also it's similar to the Twitch logo, Kai Cenat. So that's a bit of a deep one.
Wait, can you do another one? Can
Yeah,
you quickly
I have another one.
You have another one.
I have
Fuck
one more.
yes. All right, nice.
Okay,
I got that sort of off by chance.
We didn't
because I
explain
just
the
named
rules fully,
thickest-
but-
I just named the thickest dude
Okay.
in the league and I got it right.
the second one.
All right, we got a maple Canadian flag.
Maple. Yeah.
Canadian point guard. Ooh, I already know what it is.
He's too good.
Because you got number 2, the second best center in the league.
Yeah.
Am I right? We got a lockdown. So lockdown, but that's interesting because MPJ. So I'm gonna go first of all. I don't explain this to me. I'll try and figure it out. But is it the Denver Nuggets?
It's not.
Ooh.
I thought you had it.
See, I saw the maple flag, the Canadian flag, Jamal Murray, and then second best center in the league. I thought you'd do that because you know me.
It's similar to what you said.
Okay. So we got a Canadian point guard. That's what I got so far. Number 2 is World, so it's an international player.
Correct.
Number 3, Lockdown. So we've got a good small forward defender, which there are a lot of them in the NBA. And then a singer as number 4.
It's not a singer.
It's not a
It's
singer.
related to music.
Is his name related to the name of a song?
No, it's not. You'll laugh when you find out what it is because
All right, let me just work around that. So you've got number 2.
it has a relation to a song that you sing all the time.
That was too big of a hint.
Was it?
That was a way too big of a hint. So
I thought I was cheeky there.
you've got number 2 because he's second in Rookie of the Year. You've got nobody.
Yeah, that's
twin.
it.
Where have you been? That's J-Dub. And then you've got Lou Dort at the small forward,
The Dorcher Chamber.
the Dorcher Chamber. You got Shea at point guard, and then at shooting guard you got
Giddy.
Josh Giddey. It does have Australia in the yeah. I see
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, you see I chose that specific one.
Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I thought you were saying there's Philly at the start, so I just said yeah. When you said Kyle Lowry,
yeah.
yeah, you didn't realize it was the whole team.
No. I thought like each team was like an emoji, but I do know that TikTok like trend. I've
Yeah.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have gone to that straight away.
Look, we're gonna get aircon in here at some point, but it's hot again, and the cameras have died. So I don't know if we'll probably cut the whole thing, but we did sabotage. We'll probably continue it next week. To be honest, we could probably just use the same thing. that
Yeah,
we
it wasn't
got.
bad. I think it was kind of close.
It was.
when we did.
But no spoilers. Tune in next week to see that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give us your playoff predictions down below in the comments. If you're on YouTube, leave any comment you want. Like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating and let us know if you enjoyed. We'll see you next week. Peace.